Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law Splaining the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Recato of Recato Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. How you doing? How are you doing out there? Dang. Man, I'm tired today. Tired after the live stream earlier. Hold on. Gotta find all my stuff. Everything was going so well. Hold on 1 minute. Almost there. Tonight, we are going through the lawsuit that dropped what was that? It was just at the end of last week. Sydney Watson is suing the Blaze Media. Blaze Media, of course, is the conservative news site founded by Glenn Beck on principles of liberty and some other stuff. Okay, sorry, setting up my windows. Whew. Founded on concepts of liberty and other things. And now they're being sued. Well, I guess I'll just have to pull up the document to really get the full story. But we're going to go through the lawsuit, sort of the classic way we used to do things on the channel. I mean, used to, still do, just not as often. But we're going to look at the actual lawsuit, kind of line by line, see who the parties are, see what the claims are, see what the evidence is, and then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it as we go. So that's on the agenda tonight. Trying to think if there's anything else. Big reminder that Wednesday and Thursday, there will not be trial streams that day. No matter what happens, I have some daytime obligations that I'm not able to move because this trial is supposed to already be finished, even though there's no end in sight. So, there's that. As for nighttime streams, I believe there will be a nighttime stream every night this week. Although I am fucking deeply exhausted today. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I am trying to think what else I have that I might need to say. It seems like there's something. After the stream tonight, there will be, the stream's probably not going to be super long today. But we'll see, I guess. I say that, so it'll probably be long, but it's not supposed to be. Stream's not supposed to be super long today. And then there is a locals exclusive live stream afterwards. And, as far as, locals exclusive live streams, we've got one for you. I have not discussed this publicly prior to today, but Montegraph's lawyer filed an ethics complaint against me a little while back, and today I responded to it. So I figured I'd talk a little bit about that. So if you want access to that information, then and that sort of story, that will be on my locals exclusive live stream following the show today. So I hope I hope you're interested in hearing about that, and you can You can, of course, find that at recadalaw.locals.com. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I am being sued by an insane fucking moron named Montegraph or Steve Quest. Steve Quest is famously known on the internet as a probable pedophile who had sex with a melon on a stream, I guess, on a video. He also reenacted Two Girls, One Cup with a Barbie doll and chocolate yogurt, which is weird, and all sorts of other things. And he has sued me over talking about the things that he has done because Steve Quest is a vexatious litigant who does not believe in the First Amendment. So that's fun. But yes, if you did not know, I am in the process of being sued. My attorney representing me is Mark Randazza, and it's a blast. Steve's lawyer is actually a local lawyer that I have met here personally, and he has filed an ethics complaint against me. So the rest of the story you'll have to wait until my epic locals exclusive live stream following the show today. So there you go. Uh, um, there we go. Okay. So yeah, that's that. I guess with on that note, we'll just go ahead and get started with this. And there was a super chat that came in right away that I want to address from Double D's. Says, I have a question for you. My dad is getting a divorce and his wife went and took his safety deposit box key and went to bank and emptied it out. She's not on his box or a signer. How screwed is he? Probably pretty screwed. Probably pretty screwed. But we'll see on that. So 1 second here. Dealing with something real quick. Okay. Let me grab the document for this lawsuit, which is something. Da, 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 da. So this is, I don't know, Watson, Sydney. Let's see, where's the recent one? Here we go. Versus Blaze Media. Save this case. All right. Oh, do you guys know? I mean, do you guys know who these people are? Do you know who Sydney Watson is? Do you know who the Blaze is? It's not the craziest group of people. Oh, and let me get out ahead of this. If you're, this is so weird to fucking say. If you're going to be looking for the based take where I just sit and shit all over Sydney Watson, you're not likely going to be happy about this. Like, not that I don't really care about her side. I don't really care about her side or anything like that. But and I don't even know exactly how I'm going to come down, but I know some people are going into the lawsuit like, I'm going to go after this person or I'm going to support this person. I don't give a fuck who is right or wrong in this suit. I have merely skimmed it. Okay. So it's not, I'm not going to be like, I'm going after the Blaze or I'm going after Sydney Watson. I don't care what side anything is. We're going to look at the legal issues here. And let me preface this with this. I think this lawsuit is fucking retarded. Okay. I think it's stupid. I think it's dumb. I think, and this is gonna be one of those places where I go ahead and say why I fucking hate lawsuits and I hate the legal like fighting mechanism. It's a stupid lawsuit. So maybe that puts me against Sydney from the get-go. I don't have any problem with Sydney Watson or anything. I mentioned in the lawsuit, and I'll when we get to my like mention, I'll clarify the everything about my side of that story. Um, we'll go ahead and do that. I think this is a bad move, personally. And since it's being brought by Sydney, I guess that defaults me to the other side. But I don't think it's a bad move because of like misogyny, patriarchy, or whatever. I just don't think this lawsuit is ultimately that great of an idea. I think it makes Sydney Watson into a very toxic commodity for employers. I think she's poisoned her career quite a bit by doing this. And maybe, again, that's neither here nor there. It doesn't even go to the merits of this lawsuit. It's just conservative ink, right? Is something that Steven Crowder was talking about with Daily Wire, and Blaze Media is very much conservative ink. And when we get into the nuts and bolts of this thing, conservative ink is going to have a crisis of conscience where they have to decide like what it means to be a conservative media platform. Does it mean being a place of free speech? Does it mean being a place where expectations are set, or what does it mean to be in the conservative media space? All right. The Quartering says, hey, what's up, buddy? He says, Nick Requeta, sure Shem. There you go. That's true. That's true. Sure Shem. And Master Lions gifted 5 Requeta Law memberships. Thank you for that, Master Lions. Okay. So let's just get this pulled up and we'll go here. Yes, and I saw everyone say simp disclaimer. No, it's not a simp disclaimer. It's more if you have predetermined your position on the lawsuit and you're looking for me to automatically agree with your position, either way, I can't even tell you what mine is other than just at the onset, I don't think this is a good plan for anybody involved. So that'll be fun. Okay. Here we are. Here it is. This is brought in the Northern District of Texas, Dallas Division. This is where Blaze is located. Sydney has filed versus the Blaze. I'm not 100% sure why we're in federal court here. I'm guessing we'll get there as we get into the parties. Because both Sydney and the Blaze are in Dallas, unless Sydney has moved away, which is very possible. Frederick Little gifted 20 Requeta Law memberships. Thank you, Frederick. I really appreciate that. All right, so plaintiff Sydney Watson files this complaint against defendant Blaze Media, LLC, The Blaze, or defendant, and would respectfully show the court as follows. So we've got a summary here of the actions. Miss Watson has suffered injuries and the derailment of her multi-million-dollar career in conservative commentary as a result of her former employer, defendant The Blaze, creating and tolerating a hostile work environment and allowing sexual harassment, retaliation, and discriminating against her on the basis of her sex and religion. We'll get to the sex discrimination bit. I don't buy the religious discrimination bit at all, personally. I don't buy that one. But we'll see on this, I guess. Oh, and it's worth noting, I guess, that her attorney is a lawyer who writes for townhall.com. His name is Kurt Schlichter. Some people may be familiar with him. I've heard his name. I don't know him. I don't read Town Hall. I don't really read much conservative media. I used to a long time ago, but I'm told he's a pretty decent chap. All right, here we go. The Blaze's conduct was continuing, pervasive, and appalling, particularly in light of the Blaze's representation to its audience of largely conservative Americans that it stood for solid traditional values. The Blaze, founded and run by famous conservative commentator Glenn Beck, told its audience that it protected traditional values and practiced integrity, and this was part of the reason Miss Watson trusted her career to it. But the Blaze instead opted to cater to the demands, tantrums, and misbehavior of another young rising star, a male one who, long after Miss Watson had been terminated for complaining and demanding justice, was finally fired based on allegations that he physically assaulted and manhandled at least one other female, The Blaze employee. Much of the abuse was perpetrated by this individual, Elijah Schaffer, but Miss Watson's claims also implicate officers of The Blaze not interceding to correct manifest problems that they created, that occurred in front of them, or that were brought directly to their attention, into which they failed to act promptly, reasonably, and as required by law. So here we go. We now know that Elijah Schaffer is the cause of all this, although interestingly, Elijah is not mentioned. Elijah is not named as a defendant in the lawsuit, despite the fact that he is the one alleged to be behind all of the actions that precipitated into this lawsuit. It's Blaze's management of Elijah that is actually on trial here, not the actions of Elijah himself. This is an interesting strategy. It's a very interesting strategy. They're not alleging that Elijah sexually harassed or anything Miss Watson. I mean, they kind of are, but they're not going after him for it. All right. So Miss Watson complained of the misconduct continually from December 2021 to August 2022 to various personnel at the Blaze, including but not limited to the Blaze CEO, Tyler Carden. Mr. Carden and the Blaze did nothing to address the grievous misconduct, totally abdicating both their legal responsibilities to Miss Watson and their moral responsibilities to Miss Watson, as well as the Blaze's own loyal audience, to the point that CEO Tyler Carden, who should have protected Miss Watson's rights and the integrity of the program, asked Miss Watson to, quote, get Mr. Schaffer to stop talking about dick so much on the show. Wait, so the CEO asked her to get Elijah Schaffer to stop talking about dick so much. Well, look, I guess you talk about what you like, right? The conduct set forth below was based upon Miss Watson's gender and her religious beliefs that violated both the law, the company's purported procedures and policies, as well as the principles the Blaze and Mr. Beck represented to their audience. So her religious beliefs isn't she an atheist? Which isn't okay. So being an atheist doesn't preclude you from a religious discrimination suit. The question, though, is what religious belief as an atheist is being violated, and this is one of my issues here. How is she like? What? I mean, I guess we're gonna get to that, but this is a weird one for me. Again, this religious one bothers me on a conceptual level because yes, for example, if I fire only the atheists and I say, you godless fucking heathens need to go, right? That could be religious discrimination, certainly. I'm discriminating based on their lack of religion. So it's not that atheists can't be discriminated against based on their religious status as atheists. It's that I can't figure out what about atheism from the start here is actually at issue that becomes discriminatory. All right, we've got some big chats here. Matrix Tech says, toast to my grandfather. Hard life full of pain and broken family. Adopted me, his daughter's son, survived multiple broken hips, a 22 to the head, and fought to never be seen a cripple from a fused hip joint. He succumbed yesterday, faded to nothing by dementia, born in 1935. Oh, damn. Let's get that one real quick. Okay. To Matrix Tech's grandfather, a man born in 1935 who saw massive, massive changes in society, who went from a society of society recovering from depression to a society fighting war, recovering from war, transitioning through the wartime years of the 50s all the way through the 80s, being reignited in the early 2000s. A guy who saw our response to the world change in real time. A guy who saw America at its peak, many would say, and a man whose death comes on the cusp of America's potential downfall as our nation searches for a soul. But it sounds like he was never a guy searching for his soul, but a guy who had found it and grasped it unrelentingly, refusing to succumb to injury, refusing to succumb to illness, until finally life and time had stripped away all that he was, given to the disease of dementia, a disease which takes away your very will to live. Cheers to him, being a man of integrity and courage. May he rest in peace, restored of mind and soul, and freed from the trappings of a pain-racked body. Cheers. Master Lion says, hey, Nick, love your content here. Rumble and Locals. Got to get some sleep. Have a great night to you in the chat. Thank you, Master Lions. He also gifted 5 memberships. And then we've got 3 chats from Jerkface that are in a row here. I'm going to read all of them. He says, I would like to wish my sister Mel a happy Valentine's Day. Bitch, you is fine. Dad ass is divine. It's finer than wine. Got flawless design. Bitch, you is fine. That smiley's benign. Yo, teeth got some shine. I'ma take you to dine. Bitch, you is fine. You is at least a 9. I'ma make you a sign. Bitch, please be mine. Bitch, you is fine. Then stars are aligned. So I think it is time. Bitch, be my Valentine. I love you, Mel, and go fuck yourself. So that was from Jerkface 314. Happy Valentine's Day to Mel. And apparently go fuck yourself. So now I don't know if he meant sister as in like the literal sister, as in biological sister, or if he just meant sister like, hey, what up, sister girl? how you doing type thing. I don't know. But Mel sounds like quite a quite a check. The Real Hydro PX says one thing you can appreciate about Tim, unlike the quartering, Tim won't be a jewel and drop 20, hoping you will be nice to him. Frederick Little, does quartering have anything to do with that? Frederick Little says, I hope you and Lady Raggets have a great Valentine's Day. Hey, thank you, Frederick. Sounds good. And I did see Jessica Reloaded has rated the stream. Welcome, Jessica and her viewers. I appreciate that very much. I just got to say this about Jeremy, that, he did drop that $20 super chat, which I really appreciate. And of course, I expect fully to pee in his basement drain when I go visit him. All right, here we go. Parties. Plaintiff Sydney Watson is an individual residing in Denton County, Texas. The last 3 digits. Why would you put this on there? Okay, and the last 3 digits of her driver's license number are. Defendant Blaze Media LLC is a Texas corporation doing business in Irving, Texas. May be served through its registered agent CT Corporation system. Venue is proper in the Northern District of Texas in accordance with 28 U.S.C. 1391 B2 because Dallas County, which falls in the Dallas Division of the Northern District, is a county in which all or substantial part of these events or omissions giving rise to the claim occurred. Oh, okay. Court has jurisdiction over this matter in accordance with 28 U.S.C. 1331 because the claims arise under federal law. Okay, so this is under federal law claims. Got it. Jessica Reloaded says, I'm a raid you every damn night just because I can and because you're a real one. Oh, thank you, Jessica. Guys, make sure you check out Jessica Reloaded on YouTube. She's a streamer with a growing channel and, covers a whole lot of content that you guys might be interested in. Check it out. Okay, so the summary of the facts. Here's where we start to get into the meat of the case. So these are all federal law claims, federal employment law claims is what I'm guessing. And that's why this is in federal court. I was a little surprised. I figured they'd bring this under Texas employment law. But we're going full fed, baby. Plaintiff Sydney Watson is a promising young voice in the conservative commentary space with, prior to this, no limits to her potential for advancement. I hate when they write stuff like that. After she gained prominence as a YouTuber, the Blaze saw her talent and demonstrated her worth by offering her a multi-year agreement that would pay Miss Watson significant amounts. The maximum value of the agreement is approximately $1.275 million, most of which Miss Watson will not be paid because of the Blaze's misconduct. So here we got, I don't know how long her multi-year agreement was, but the total value, $1.275 million. The longer out that contract is, the less impressive the amounts become. But if it's 2 years, we're looking at, 6,300,000 and whatever thousand, or 637.5 or something like that. And then of course, if it's 4 years, we're out to 400,000 a year, something. But the pay was only one factor in Miss Watson choosing the Blaze over other opportunities. The Blaze represented itself as an incubator of talent that helped accelerate the careers of such conservative commentary superstars as Dana Loesch, Dana Lash, and Tommy Loren. Well, I think Dana Lash might be a conservative commentary superstar. Is Tommy Loren still a superstar? Does she? I mean, she left the Blaze in a not very happy way, if I remember right. I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, I know Dana Lash. I don't know what Dana's doing anymore. Wait, Tommy Loren's on Fox now? Why? Okay. I don't know. I don't follow any of these people or any of this stuff anymore. Mitch Marcos has just dropped by, but isn't Sydney's case hurt by bringing you onto the show? You're just as no, you are just as slightly offensive as Elijah, and your reputation is known. She claims to be a men's rights advocate, but can't stand men being men. No, I don't think her claim is hurt by bringing me on the show, but we'll get there and talk about that. Chris D says, I feel 16 again, legit sick, binging a new game, Hogwarts Legacy. Though I'm even older than you. Sorry I can't come to Vegas, but next time, if it's on a Friday, Saturday, I'll do everything I can to come. Boy, got responsibilities. Okay, so remember, Las Vegas is February, April is Philly, August is Houston, and September is Nashville. So there are 4 major appearances. As the Vegas one wraps up, I'll be the Philly one is with Dick Masterson and Carl from Who Are These Podcasts. I'll be planning a Houston meetup right around Anime Matsuri, but it'll be its own thing. And then there's the Nashville meetup, which is coming in September, probably the 15th or 16th, which is either Friday or Saturday in September. And I'll be announcing these things as they get set up. So, all right, but yeah, make it to one of those. Also, I'll be doing several smaller ones around the Midwest that are not like big formal events, but where I just drive out and hang out. We go raid a bar or whatever. Okay, so further, so the superstars Dana Lash and Tommy Loren. Further, the Blaze represented itself as living the moral values that its talent, including Glenn Beck, preached to its audience. I do not see. I don't think so. I don't think it ever did. I mean, one of the first employees of the Blaze was S.E. Cupp, an atheist who ended up being pro-choice, if I remember right, very opposed to the moral values of Glenn Beck. What? I don't get where this is coming from specifically, but that's what we've got apparently. Based upon its representations, Miss Watson expected to be part of an environment that would allow her to grow and develop, but would also treat her and others with respect and dignity. Sadly, that did not happen. Miss Watson was to co-host a show with Elijah Schaffer. Miss Watson and Mr. Schaffer began production of You Are Here on September 9th, 2021. You Are Here was an internet-based interview show centering on politics and culture that streamed on the Blaze and was supported by subscriptions. It was not to be a sexually explicit show, nor was it intended to be actively misogynistic. So the misogynistic is, we'll see about that, but not to be a sexually explicit show. I'm not 100% sure that I know what this means. A sexually explicit show, because the show wasn't sexually explicit. No one's got their dicks out. No breasts or vaginas are exposed on it. There may have been some dick jokes, but a dick joke doesn't make a show sexually explicit, right? Being sexually explicit does. But that being said, I'm not 100. This is where the lawsuit part of it gets frustrating and muddy, because what was the show supposed to be? What was the show supposed to be? What was the understanding going in? All we know is she is making this claim that the show wasn't supposed to be this way, which assumes it was supposed to be another way. But how do we know that? The only way we'll know is if the Blaze responds in some other contrary way to this. And the Blaze may actually settle this lawsuit. They may settle it out. Miss Watson is informed and believed, and on that basis alleges that both she and Mr. Schaffer were subject to the same general employment terms, though not necessarily pay and benefits. The agreement between the Blaze and Miss Watson provided that the Blaze would be deeply involved in every aspect of the show and approved its content. Okay, and here we go. So we've got some terms from the contract. The contract is not included in full, it's included in part here. Programs. The program shall refer to the following, including each episode thereof. An episodic audio video series consisting of daily news and commentary with talent as co host. The title and format of the programs and underlying concepts related to each program are subject to company approval in its sole discretion. Each episode of the program shall be at least 44 minutes in length, excluding commercial breaks, and depending on the network clock requirements as determined by company in its sole discretion, exclusively for Blaze TV subscribers and podcast listeners, or is otherwise determined by company in its sole discretion. Now, these shows ended up running 2 hours. 2 hours ish at a time, I believe. The program shall consist of at least 5 episodes per week for a minimum of 48 weeks per contract year, for a minimum of 240 episodes per contract year. Each episode of the program shall be written collectively by talent and the designated co-host. Other persons, such as guests, as reasonably approved by company and subject to securing applicable clearances, may appear on any episode of the programs. Companies shall have the reasonable right to approve or reject each episode and the final content included in each episode of the programs and any related materials, such as promotional clips. All right, so the Blaze is the one picking the subjects, approving the guests, and all of that stuff. That's the Blaze. And in my experience on the show, there's a production team, and they provided a stack, and the stack was the show topics for that night. And the 2 times I was on the show, we barely got through like the first page of the 20-page stack of stuff. We just really didn't get into it. I don't know what other shows did. Production of programs. Companies shall produce, including via any third-party production company, the programs at company's sole cost and expense, and agrees to use reasonable efforts to expediently designate a producer for the programs to be approved by talent, such approval not to be unreasonably withheld. And I believe I met the producer. I guess I won't say his name. He's a super nice guy. Though talent and company agree that said producer may also work on company projects or initiatives other than the programs, so long as said work does not materially interfere with the producer's ability to effectively produce talent's programs. The programs are expected to be filmed in the greater Dallas, Texas metropolitan area. However, some episodes of the programs may be filmed in other locations as and when mutually agreed by talent and company. Talent will be reimbursed for any pre-approved travel expenses incurred by talent at the request of company for such productions outside of Dallas. Whew. Okay. See, again, it says the Blaze would be deeply involved in every aspect of the show and approved its content. I don't actually get them being deeply involved in every aspect of the show from this. It just says that the program shall be written collectively by talent and the designated co-host. And then it's just subject to approval. That's not deep involvement. That's Sydney and Elijah writing the show. So I don't. You Are Here was taped on set at the Blaze Studios in Irving, Texas, under the direct supervision of the Blaze management and employees. Paragraph 1 of the general terms of the agreement between the Blaze and Miss Watson requires that the talent company with direction and the Blaze's rules, services, talent will render the services in connection with this engagement to the best of talent's ability and subject to company's direction and control. Talent shall abide by all reasonable rules, regulation, by all reasonable, comma. Who wrote this? Why is there comma? Rules, regulations, and requests of company in the performance of the services hereunder. This comma doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. See, this is the type of shit that annoys me. All right? That's in a contract. By all reasonable, comma. Comma. The show was initially successful and was growing its audience as hoped. However, Mr. Schaffer's persona on the show became increasingly aggressive and soon began to veer into outright misogyny. He appeared to enjoy the intimidation factor that his physical size gave him with respect to Miss Watson. The choice of guests compounded Miss Watson's growing discomfort with the anti-female tone of the show and the off-air interactions with her co-host. Look, if you were worried and intimidated by the size of your co-host, there's something you can do for yourself. You can go ahead and go to fieldofgreens.com. Fieldofgreens.com is a superfood that you drink. This is how you get your nutrition. This is how you get yourself strong. You go ahead and you get yourself a bottle of water right here, like this one. You get yourself a scoop of good old-fashioned Field of Greens. It's a 10-gram scoop. You dump this in. It's powder. Right? Very simple. And then we're going to cover this thing up. And cover this bad boy up and shake it like a Polaroid or whatever. Shake, 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 shake. Shake it like a white guy rapping, okay? Which means arrhythmically. And then you've got yourself a drink. It's 1 serving of fruit, 1 serving of vegetables. This is to promote general health. This is not actually like a vitamin shake or anything like that. It's to promote general health that you would get by eating the quote unquote rainbow. You know, eat some fruit, eat some vegetables. This is a good way to get those in during the day. As for me, I don't eat enough vegetables most days, and I barely eat any fruit because who has the time to eat something gay? I don't. I don't have that at all, except on Thursdays. But this is how you can get those in, and it's actually it tastes good. But it's not a bunch of like fake bullshit. It's just ground up fruit, ground up vegetables that goes in your drink and helps you get the nutrition you need. And the health benefits are there. They actually have a guarantee for the health benefits. And most importantly, though, legitimately, is that it tastes good. You actually want to drink it every night. And that's the main thing. Because if you have like something that helps promote your health, but you don't want it, then you're not going to use it. So go to fieldofgreens.com, use promo code NOSE to get a little bit of money off of your order. Try it out. Everybody who's reported back to me that they tried it, they really liked it. It's good stuff. And I legitimately drink it all the time. Lots of times you see me drink it on the show, and I enjoy it very much. All right, so here we go. The descent begins here on December 3rd. How many carbs and sugars? Let's see. Total carbohydrates in a scoop, 3 grams. 2 of those are dietary fibers and 1 gram is sugar. So not many, you know, not many of those things. So if you're like a diabetes or whatever, it's still good for you. All right. Okay, here we go. On December 3rd, 2021, notorious bigot Nick Fuentes appeared on You Are Here. That's my favorite line of lawsuit so far. He was grossly misogynistic. And most troubling was how this appeared to be condoned by Mr. Schaffer. See, I didn't watch all of this episode, but I saw a part where they basically made fun of him for thinking girls are icky. Or whatever, because he's such a fucking weirdo. Isn't this bigoted against the notorious gay man, Nick Fuentes, the cum hunter himself? But yeah, I don't know about his appearing to be condoned by Mr. Schaffer. I don't know if we can even find these. Is this archived somewhere? Now I want to go back and watch it. It was at about this time that the environment on the production began to become notably more hostile, not merely to Miss Watson, but to many of the women at the Blaze. Ooh. On December 17th, 2021, Jack Murphy appeared on You Are Here. Miss Watson found Murphy grossly misogynistic, and he shouted at Miss Watson when she read a YouTube live stream super chat question from a viewer regarding his controversial past. If you don't remember what the past was, It was that cuckolding article that he wrote. Um, Miss Watson had no prior knowledge of this past when she innocently read the viewer's question. After Murphy swore at Miss Watson, "Fuck you, heartfelt, Sydney. Thought we were friends." It's still one of the funniest things.
You know what? No. Fuck you, heartfelt.
And stormed out of the studio. Mr. Schaffer went out for dinner and drinks with Murphy to smooth it over. Miss Watson and members of the audience were upset at Mr. Schaffer's reaction and his tolerance of Murphy's abuse. Okay. I'm gonna add a complicating factor to this. If I remember correctly, Sydney and Elijah had a follow-up episode in which Sydney defended Elijah's actions during the whole Jack Murphy debacle. Do you guys remember that? Because I do. I remember that. And that is, I think, that's a problem with this claim that he handled that poorly, because she came out and said he handled it correctly and that he had her back and they were a team and all that stuff, and everything was okay. And then I think he also did self-deprecating humor that, he was gay or whatever, something. So he, she was more than capable of handling herself in that situation. So this one's a problem for me. And this is another reason why I don't like lawsuits very much, because they kind of represented to the world that Elijah was good in that interaction, and now she's saying Elijah's bad in that interaction. It's like, well, which one is it? Sword and Scale. Hey, what's up, Mike? He says, Nick, don't cover this topic. HR will call you in for a face-to-face. He said, weirdly, I filed this same exact lawsuit verbatim against Mr. Rekieta. Do you believe me? If so, say Field of Greens in the chat. Well, Mike, I know you're intimidated by my patent misogyny. And as a woman, you're very scared by my physical size and presence. But don't be scared, BB. I love you. I got to have you on the show again, dude. We got to do another show. It's been too long. Mitch Stu says Sydney Watson gives foot jobs, not defamation. She told a story about it on a live stream with the quartering, told me everything I needed to know. Everything you needed to know was that Sydney Watson gives foot jobs? There's so many ways we could go with that. Why is that everything you needed to know? Everything you needed to know about about who? About everything? Okay. Mr. Schaffer told Miss Watson that he refused to control Murphy because Miss Watson was a woman, and stated that if he demanded his guest stop his abuse, Miss Watson would have looked weaker. Ironically, Miss Watson reluctantly defended Mr. Schaffer later over the blowback. Mr. Schaffer later tweeted about the incident, embarrassing Miss Watson. Okay, so yeah, here we go. They're trying to mitigate that. She reluctantly defended Mr. Schaffer later over the blowback. This is an actual tough one. From both Sydney and Elijah's perspective. It really is. When you have a completely unruly guest who does something that is way out of your sort of prepared idea of what's going to happen, how you handle it, how you react, and you don't necessarily know how that's going to be. uh like I kind of thought Elijah should maybe say something when Jack was going nuts, but I don't have um a co-host, right? Like I don't have someone who is actually employed with me where we have employment agreements or anything like that. I don't have that. So if someone's going like off on another guest or whatever, I don't have the same potential obligation here. But I think there's some merit to what Elijah allegedly says that she would look weaker if he did that. Like if he intervened in that moment. But also like Jack Murphy was being a massive cunt. So maybe you just throw him off for being a cunt, not necessarily for uh not for picking on Sydney, but just for in general being stupid. I don't know, man. That's a tough situation. I don't know that people are necessarily prepared for how to deal with that. Like, how do you go into this and say, all right, we have to have a meeting about what we do in case this guest gets asked a random super chat about a cuckolding article and then proceeds to spurg the fuck out. So we need to have a plan in place for this contingency. Like, who would think that that was on the menu? No one thought Jack Murphy, the king of masculinity, direct from Tim Pool with a voice in the stratosphere, was going to come out and be like, no, it's fine for my wife to go out and bang Matt from. No one thought this was coming. Like, no one knew why that would happen or that would happen. He wasn't on there to discuss that. That came out. That's the beauty of live interactive content with the super chats is you don't know what's fucking coming. The only thing that we know was coming was Matt from Tinder. But I don't know if I can. I mean, I like to in my head think that maybe if I were in Elijah's shoes, things would have been like I would have acted a little differently, but I can't say for sure they would. Sword and Scale says, serious question. Rage Pig, that's Ethan Ralph, has been kicked from Twitter, kicked from tweeting some nonsense. Should the free speech community stand behind or just go, well, I don't know, on the fence on that one? I'm generally opposed to censorship, even the censorship of Ethan Ralph. I'm not motivated to fight for Ethan Ralph in any way. Oh, and I will also say, ha, 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 you dumb fat piece of shit. You fucking idiot. There, I'll say that. I don't think Ralph should be banned from Twitter. I think Ralph should be banned from the buffet. That's what Ralph should be banned from, and from his pill addiction or whatever it is. He's just a giant pile of garbage. So I don't know what to do. I'll go to bat for plenty of people. I'll phone that one in. Yeah, Ralph shouldn't be banned or whatever. There's my answer. How's that? There's a million people I would fight for in front of that fucking retard. Okay. When You Are Here returned from its break in early January 2022, Mr. Schaffer unilaterally booked several additional guests with particularly contemptible and sexist opinions towards women, typically without consulting Miss Watson or letting her know the extent of these opinions. Who? See, who are these several additional guests with particularly contemptible and sexist opinions towards women? I don't remember who they had. Not me. Nope. See, this is the mistake people are making. Elijah Schaffer never once booked me for You Are Here. It's not me. That's what I'm telling you. Because Sydney Watson booked me for this show both times. So I know for a fact she can't be talking about me. So my question is, who else was picked? Doyle? Kai? Who's Kai? Ryan Cannell? Oh, was Ryan Cannell on? Anna, that Star Wars girl, was on, I think. Fuentes was before this. So, So I don't know. I'm really curious who Mr. Schaffer unilaterally booked starting in January. Now I know or I believe that Elijah unilaterally booked Ethan Ralph. I believe that might be true. Although I feel like Sydney maybe had some say in that one, but I think Elijah booked Ethan Ralph. But I don't know who else there was. So, but I want to be very clear on this because I knew people were going to maybe misinterpret or misunderstand this, but Sydney booked me both times. So Elijah did not book me onto the You Are Here show. Elijah was happy to have me on there. I think we had a good time. But that was actually part of the fun controversy with the Ralph thing, was that Elijah didn't know I was coming on the show until like right before. Okay, so here we go. It became clear to Miss Watson that on each of these episodes, she was to be the designated punching bag for the sexist guests and for Mr. Schaffer himself. Ms. Watson is a serious journalist. She did not agree to assume that demeaning role, nor was she warned about it in advance. The idea behind You Are Here was never that it was to be a forum for the humiliation and abuse of the female co-host, as the male host smirked and egged on this appalling behavior. It should be noted that a significant part of Mr. Schaffer's audience calls itself traditional, but actual traditional values have nothing to do with the abuse of and contempt for women. And now, I don't know if people are going to scoff at or whatever, but Megan Fox has written about this lawsuit for PJ Media, and people should maybe check it out because this is becoming there's a subset of the right that is going uno reversi on feminism and going pretty hard. That is true. That's a thing that does exist. Whether or not it's conscious, whether it's based in hatred, or whether it's just a knee-jerk reaction to the overt feminism of the left, there's something going on right now in conservative media that, and I see it all the time. I see it in the comment sections. I see it in the chats and stuff like that. My main thing is I don't really care. People are free to have whatever opinion they want, but the conservative movement and conservative media may need to reconcile with this sort of reaction to that, I guess, feminism, with what appears to be some level of misogyny that's going on in the traditional or conservative thing. But I think this also kind of undercuts Sydney's argument a little bit, because she talks about the Blaze's loyal traditional audience. And now here she's saying that the You Are Here audience that's traditional and an audience of the Blaze is made up of people who hold this same view. So how are we supposed to determine that this is not just the Blaze's audience that she maybe should have expected? I don't know that's laid out very well here. But yeah, again, you can read the Megan Fox article, make up your own minds on it. I'm not telling you what to think about any of this stuff, but it's related to this lawsuit, so it's further reading if you want to engage it. This portion of Mr. Schaffer's audience, I don't think it's Mr. Schaffer's audience. I really don't. I think it's the Blaze's audience. I think it's generally the traditional audience, especially the younger traditional conservatives. There's a move away from how do I describe this? There is a rapid move away from pandering to females and feminism. And some people might take that too far. They might take that past the get away from pandering and into being outright negative towards women. Again, I see it all the time. I also see people being very negative towards men and me or whatever. I don't care, but it's an observation that exists. But I don't think this is relegated to just You Are Here's audience. I think you see it in every conservative leaning chat audience or whatever. Who knows how big of a subset it is? Who knows how, many people it is, but it's there. And by numbers, that only makes sense. But yeah, this is interesting, but I don't think it's Elijah's audience, which he cultivates, it says. Simply uses the idea of tradition as a cover for its extreme misogyny. Such viewers often flooded You Are Here's discussions with super chats and grossly sexist comments, as well as anti-Jewish commentary. Oy fucking vey. You're not Jewish. Leave this shit out. I hate this. This is just meant to prejudice the other party. That's all this line is intended to do. It has nothing to do with this lawsuit. Sydney is not a Jew. This isn't related to her religious discrimination claims. And roughly half of Jews are men. So it's not related to her sex discrimination. Again, this could be a relevant comment if a Jew was the host who was, being like there was an anti-Semitic remarks on set or something. Sure, that could be part of a religious discrimination claim, but it doesn't belong in this lawsuit. And I hate that they want to do this because it feels slimy to me. That made Ms. Watson extremely uncomfortable and prevented her from performing her duties as she wished. Okay. What duty was she prevented from performing here? These are some really general statements. I'm wondering if we're going to see an amended complaint with more specifics, but like prevented her from performing her duties as she wished. Her duty was to write for the show and perform the show. That was it. Now, she did read super chats as part of the show. So is that what she's talking about? But that's not one of her duties as far as her contract goes. So I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure. TJ says, wait, so assuming it's even true, how does that target her for being a heathen? As a heathen, I don't get it. In her words, it's because she's a woman. I don't know. Let's see. We'll get to more in just a second. But speaking of anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish commentary, how you can avoid that is by going to birchgold.com/knows. Let no one doubt your loyalty to the Jewish community or Jewish faith as you add precious metals like gold and silver to your IRA or 401k. Make sure you go ahead and go to birchgold.com/knows to get information on how you can add Judaism straight into your retirement account. This is, of course, a joke because Birch Gold is not a Jewish-owned gold company. It's just the fucking meme of the internet right now. And it goes along with this lawsuit. But Birch Gold, as a serious matter, Birch Gold is here to help you protect your retirement. through the use of gold and silver. Not everybody has the cash around to buy gold and silver for themselves in their regular lives. If you do, that's great. It's really cool to collect. It holds its value really well, and it's a pretty worthy, just sort of general investment that people can make for, again, holding value over a long period of time outside of the traditional banking system. But not everybody has cash on hand to do that. But a lot of people have a 401k or an IRA that they've contributed to over the years that has a significant amount of dollars sitting in it. And then you can convert those dollars, some of them, into gold and silver as a hedge against market volatility and inflation. Look, we had a whole bunch of UFOs and shit just shot down over the country. We've got the market going up and down and all over the place. We've got inflation, flying up, and then Joe Biden reducing the increase in inflation by more than it's ever been reduced, only because inflation moved higher than it's ever moved in the history of the United States. Gold and silver are resistant to those sort of things. And birchgold.com/knows is here to help you resist that change over time, to hedge against that the impact that your retirement accounts can have from something like a market disruption or from inflation. So give them a little check. Go to the website, click the green button. Look, they've got thousands of positive reviews. They've got an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They've been around for a really long time. They're a serious company with a serious product. And if you go ahead and check them out, they'll get you the information that you need. And that's what your weapon is there. It's information. I can't tell you if gold or silver is right for your investment account, but you can make that decision once you have information about it and how it can benefit you. Check them out, birchgold.com/knows, to get that info. And with that, we are going to move off of YouTube and on to Rumble exclusive. You can go into the YouTube description if you're there. Oh, wait, I got to read the super chats. Let me read the super chats that are on YouTube, and then we'll hit over to Rumble exclusively. So hold on just a second here. Salty Hard R Brainwater says, so Nick goes in, you are here, and it's Sydney's last appearance. What did you do? Oh, and for comedic effect, Ralph showed up to taunt the Blaze before his bowling thing. What a day. It was a good day. What did I do? I went on the show. I had a very nice time. I got to meet Sydney. She was a delight. I got to meet Elijah for the second time. Had a lot of fun. And then that was pretty much the end of it. Jacob Feltman says, why am I in law school? I have no idea why you would do that to yourself. Ed says, why can't the prosecution explain how Murdaugh is a wizard and is able to manipulate time and space to commit the crimes? SJ Shady 0169 says, Tim is going to cover the Sydney lawsuit thoroughly as a low-key way to get back at Jeremy. That'd be funny. Ricky D says, the quartering admitted a possible hot tub stream. Ooh. With who? With me? That'd be excellent. Sophie says, hey, Nick, what's up with the French documentary about Amber Heard? I don't really know if they can use your vids or not. Hail. I mean, they probably fall closely under fair use. I'm not going at, I just made fun of the French company because they used my clips. They didn't even ask. If they asked, I would have said yes. I would have said, oh, we are going to make you a big misogynist. I would have said, of course. I would expect nothing less from the French, but they didn't ask. So I was just trolling them on Twitter. I'm not like going to bring a copyright action. Although, to be fair, typically a lot of news stations and documentarians, even though what they're doing would be considered fair use and probably protected use under copyright, they still would ask permission or pay a licensing fee for the content that they do utilize. I haven't watched the documentary. It sounds profoundly French. I think they kind of defend Amber Heard, and I don't really care to do that. I just thought it was funny to see it on there. But I guess hail the French. Real Hydro PX says, ask the quartering how much is he paying for Sydney's retainer, and how much was he part of her asking him if she should sue the Blaze? Okay. He also says the quartering is a Sydney simp, And I love how he comes here dropping you $20, hoping you're nice to him. Sleep is the cousin of death, says, if a Christian was discriminated against, chat would be enraged right now. Flip out over a cake or something. Again, was she just I'm trying to figure out where the religious discrimination was. I haven't seen it yet in the lawsuit. Maybe we'll get there. I don't know how. Again, I know how you can discriminate against an atheist, but nothing she has put into the document so far gets me to that. Oh my God, this is awesome. Lol says, stop talking about ducks so much. No, they quack. Sophie says, Nick, you okay? You look a bit sad and tired. Much love. I'm very tired. I'm not sad at all. I'm very, actually, extremely happy. I had a very good weekend and a very good Monday. Just exhausted. I didn't get as much of a nap. I didn't get much of a nap before the show, between the two shows, mainly because I was responding to Monty's lawyer, but which again, I'll discuss on the locals exclusive following the show. Zeknick says Real Hydro PX is really critical of Tim, like really critical. That's an interesting chat from him. Master Phillips says atheism is a kind of religion the same way abstinence is a kind of sex position. Anyway, I miss You Are Here, and I hope the kids figure it out peacefully. You Are Here is not coming back. That one should be known. If you don't know, You Are Here is that channel has actually been scrubbed and given to Alex Stein to, I guess, jumpstart the subscriber count for Alex Stein's new show on the Blaze. I don't know. I don't watch it. You guys watched Alex Stein's show? Some of his antics are okay. I don't have any interest in watching him on a show, personally. Kyle Bogue says, sure are a lot of atheists who worship at the altar of the state. TJ says, as a non-believer, what would I swear on in court? In Minnesota, you don't put your hand on a Bible at all. So you would just swear on, you just raise your right hand. Most of the time, they don't have the Bible there anymore. Battle Elf says, is Elijah Schaffer transitioning back into Chaz Bono? I hope so. I think I might have Elijah on the show this week. We'll see. I don't know that he'll want to talk much about the lawsuit, but again, he's not a party in it, so maybe. Who knows? John Doe says, it's impossible to find old You Are Here episodes because it's now rebranded Alex Stein's channel. All You Are Here episodes are gone. Hey, we just said that. Angry Whiskers says, can you name an individual video game that you think has good gameplay, good visuals, and good music all in one? I often enjoy it when you talk games. Good gameplay, good visuals, and good music all in one. Shit. Trying to think. There's a really good. I don't usually pay much attention to music in games. There's one that's really fucking good. I mean, I like Elden Ring a lot. I thought that was a great game. I really enjoyed Space Marine. I don't know. I'll have to think on that one. Not a lizard person says Texas's right to work, probably why she filed federal. Well, there's federal anti-discrimination laws. That's what we're under here. Steven 2015 says, how can one be obligated to stand up for another? Well, you could by contract if you contracted for that, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. Again, this isn't against Elijah, though. Elijah's not required to stand up for Sydney, but management and her employer may be required to stand up for Sydney under federal law under certain circumstances. That's what we'll get to. Mr. Nate says, Nick, thank you. You've helped me a lot. As an alcoholic, you've helped me so much. I'd probably be dead if it weren't for you. Thank you. Wow. How did I help you as an alcoholic? Do you just like watch me drink and go, yeah, I'm good? I'm glad, brother. I'm glad. It's my honor to be able to do that. Mitch Stew says, let me clear the record. The foot job thing proved to me that she was a trad wife who had no principles, a hashtag trad wife who had no principles. Although she isn't completely insane, no hard feelings, but she was playing a role and wants money now. Mitch Marco says, Sydney also complains about the super chats, but by both them and you deliberately read all of them and make fun of Tim Pool for not. Oh, but I see. Yeah. Yeah, I deliberately read all of them. I really try to because I always have. I think it's just good. I think it's good for business. Casey Moody says, sorry, I'm late. Can you repeat everything over again? I got a kid at MSU. I've been distracted. Holy shit. Yeah, I hope so. I hope everything's okay with your kid. William Jefferson Clinton says, tell Willie how Sydney smells. Oh, no. Otto Rommel says, your description says Elijah Watson. Does it? I was so tired when I typed it. Oh, shit. It does. Schaffer. Thank you. I've changed one on Rumble. Cars in Depth says, I can't take anyone who says misogyny seriously. And Baldo Gagger 4000 says, Nick, the French targeted you. They blurred Ty out. I think they targeted me and Tug because we're both online. Like, we have our own shows. So they figure we don't mind having our face like put out there. But yeah, they blurred Ty out, which is kind of funny. I don't know. Whatever. All right. That's the show on YouTube. Shit. Steven 2015 says, so Quartering is working with Crowder. Sydney working with Quartering. How much you want to bet Sydney's going to work for Crowder? Must sue Big Con. Maybe. We don't even know what Crowder's going to do yet. But okay, here we go. We're going to move exclusively to Rumble now. We're through all the super chats. YouTube folk, I will see you guys in the morning for, oh, Jesus, that's terrifying. I will see you for the trial. Alex Murdaugh, 8:20 a.m. Central Time tomorrow morning, and we'll be back at 11 p.m. tomorrow night. Come watch the Rumble show, and I love you all very much. Peace. Peace.
For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen,